What's up, guys? Welcome to Mike It Yourself. And well, how many of us are getting older? Yeah, so this is a video that I felt like was for the old guys, sort of. But as I did a little bit more digging, the younger guys, they have a cooler way of doing this. But I wanted to test something out before I went full bore and looked for a solid solution. And what I'm talking about are backrests for the riders, right? So on the 2017 and actually on all the road glides and street glides and the Road Kings, they don't come with a backrest for the rider. Now you can buy the optional backrest, and I'm sure you can buy one when you buy your bike if you wanted to, but most of us don't. We're kind of just happy to get on the bike and get going from the dealership. And yeah, so later on you kind of start exploring, well, like, what the heck is this for, right? Well, that's for your rider backrest to fit through. So they make all kinds of them. They're all over. And if you buy them through Harley Davidson, they're kind of pricey. They're pretty expensive. The other option is to get a better seat, right? So you can get a seat that provides that backrest, and some of them have like a little, like, I don't know, like a cheese lump or something they put on the back. But from what I've heard from other guys that I've talked to, it works really well. So that might be a solution for you. And ultimately, I wanted to try something out without having to spend like $500 to find out if it was going to be the right thing for me. The Harley Davidson backrest, like I said, they're pretty expensive. I mean, I think you'd be somewhere in the realm of like 300 bucks. So again, if I'm gonna spend the money, great, but I want to make sure it's the right thing. I don't want to buy something, pay a bunch of bucks, and then find out, you know what, it didn't really work out, and you put it off to the side in your garage, and now you've got spent money that is doing nothing for you, right? So that's one thing I definitely don't want to do. So what did I do? Well, I bought this generic, or I say generic, but it's an off-brand backrest off of Amazon, and I think it was 70 bucks or so. And for the life of me at the moment, I can't remember the brand name, but if you Google it, or not Google it, but if you search in Amazon, you'll find this setup. It's fairly popular on there, so not hard to find. But let's walk through what it has. So in this setup, you get the base, the mounting base for your seat. You get the post for the backrest to go on, and this is actually the part that's going to be going through your stock seat. And then you get two brackets, and what these two brackets are for are for the additional support of this unit here. So this is for the newer models, so I think this is probably Rushmore going forward, and then this is pre. So if it's an older bike, kind of like my my 07 Road King, you'd probably use that bracket. So we're gonna use this, and this. And then here's the back padding. Again, nothing special about it, very simple. The quality of the material, it's probably vinyl. It feels okay. You know, whatever. Again, the point of this was to test it out. If it works and it lasts, great. I'm gonna wear this thing out, right? If it doesn't, then I don't feel as bad as if I would have spent, like, you know, $500 on a expensive seat and found out it didn't work for me. Now, the way this mounts to this bracket is through this hole here. And what it came with, and I actually already I pitched it like right away. As soon as I looked at it, I said, no way, is it was a screw with a nut on it. Now, that's not going to work, because if you want to take your seat off to get your battery or whatever, that means you got to unbolt that thing every single time, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. So what I did immediately is I just ran down to the Home Depot, and I got me one of these pins. So this is, I forget the name of these pins. Quick release, I don't know. So it's the little pin with the ball bearing at the end, and this is a 1/4 inch. So it fit through these holes without issue, but I did have to drill out this hole just a little bit to open it up, so that way the pin can go through easily. So that is one modification I made right up front. And then one of the things that's kind of cool, this goes on the back side of that seat, and it's got Velcro, and this is actually all Velcro here, but it's a little pocket, right? So that's cool. I don't know what you'll put in there, but you got a pocket, right? So that's what the setup was. Like I said, about 70 bucks or so, and we're gonna put it on Hefe here. So let me get the tripod set up and I'll walk you through the installation. This is pretty easy and quick. All right guys, so like I said, the installation of this is very simple. You remove your seat from the bike, and what you're going to be doing is loosening or removing the nuts off of these two studs, and then you're going to want to get to these two. These are the battery tray cover topper thingy. Yeah, so you're going to want to pull those out. So literally you can do this all with a single tool if you want. I'm going to do it, keep it easy. I'm going to actually just use a crescent wrench. All right. So remove those two nuts, put them in a super safe place like my pocket, and then these two bolts. And so like I said, this is the bracket we're going to use because this is the bracket for this bike, and I'm gonna kind of maneuver some stuff here. All right, so I've run into my first problem, and that is my little light setup here, or the I don't know, the brains for the blinkers is mounted. I double-sided taped it there, so I'm gonna have to remove that so I can get this thing to sit flush where it needs to. So if you don't have this, of course it's not going to impact you, but if you do, then you're going to run into troubles like me. All right, so because I'm using double-sided tape on this, if I remember correctly, one of the things I like to use to remove tape or decals or whatever, badging, really, not so much decals, is fishing line. It's very thin, it can get under, and it's durable, right? So you're able to cut through stuff with ease. So we'll go ahead and do that. So get it through, go back and forth, bada bing, it's off. Gotta love this fishing line, right? If you can't catch fish, at least use it to remove your stuff. All right, so we're gonna lift this up and put that bolt through. Bolt number 2 goes through. And then we can go ahead and tighten them down. Again, these don't need to be like torqued crazy or anything. And remember, you got plastic under here too, so you don't want to crank down on it too hard, because you may potentially break that plastic, right? You don't want to do that. All right, so we got that one on. Now let's get that upper bracket. Okay, so this is the slotted thing that's going to go here, so you'll want to make sure that that is where it needs to be. And I'm kind of guessing here with the, I think I'm gonna go with these second holes, but we can put our nuts on here and we'll have to test fit it a little bit, right? So one of the things that keeps that thing, that shaft or bar or whatever, in place is a set screw. So you'll have this little set screw, and in that bar there's some indentations. You'll see that once we put that on. But first we got to put the bolt that goes through here to hold it in place. All right, so this bolt has, I don't know what the hell you call that part, but we'll keep it from spinning while you tighten it. So that makes life a little bit easier when you're putting this on, where you don't have to worry about 2 wrenches. You can just do it with 1. So I'll go ahead and use the same exact tool that we've been using the whole time. Actually move some of this stuff out of my way, make life a little bit easier for me. All right, so I got that nice and tight. So at this point, we're ready to go ahead and put our seat back on. So we can slide that bar down. Actually, you know what? We'll put the bar in first. So in here, you got all kinds of indentations to determine what height you want for your back. So I'm gonna just start with the lowest because I'm not a tall person. I gotta get my little Allen wrench here, which actually makes this tool number 2 being used, right? All right. So tighten that up, and then we're going to tighten up those 2 nuts really quick. Now this is going through the fender. I don't know what kind of support is back there, so again, I'm not going to crank down on it too hard because I don't want it to flex the fender or create any problems. So we have this in place. Now, one of the things I did want to also point out is this bracket has a little shape here, and this means it'll push you forward, or you can flip it around. It'll give you a little bit more back space. So I think it all depends on whether or not you have a passenger. I don't know. But the reality is if I am riding double up, then the person behind me kind of acts like a backrest. So I probably will just take this off when I'm riding 2 up. So let's get the seat on. All right, got the seat on here. Just throw our thumb screw in there just to make sure it doesn't move around on us. Like so. And all right, so it looks like I'm gonna have to move it forward, because if you see here, it's actually pushing the seat back, and I want it to fit just right through that area, and it would actually, yeah. So we'll have to see. So let me adjust that. So hopefully this bracket will be giving enough to let me flex it, and so I gotta loosen that up a little bit. All right. Okay, so we're down on holes number 3, and actually before I do any more tightening down, I should have did this in the beginning. Lesson learned. I'm gonna go ahead and test fit it again. All right, that looks like it fits. So I don't see the leather being pushed back, and it's coming through just fine. So let's go ahead and tighten that stuff up. And as you can see, it's just a little bit of a process. It's nothing hard. It's just making sure you have it and in the right spot. And you know, the reality is I've got to put the padding on and then make sure when I sit down on it, is it going to feel right for me? Okay, and last one. There you go. So let's put that seat back on, and then we can put the back padding on. Okay. Thumb screw. Back pad, and like I said, using this instead so I can remove and put it on quickly. All right, so that's that. Now looking at it, it's kind of, you know, it sits a little bit more forward than the seat, so I'm curious to see how that's going to feel on my back. All right guys, so now I'm sitting on it, and you know where it's at, it feels pretty good. I feel it definitely sitting right in the small of my back, which is actually where I would want it to be. So yeah, it feels pretty good. I think I'm gonna leave it right there, at least for now. I'm gonna probably have to get a couple of rides in, but it feels right. All right, so let's put my handy dandy wheel aside, and so here's that little pack that I was telling you about. So it just kind of sticks on right to the backside of the seat pad here. That's convenient. And then if you needed to, like, you could put tools or whatever in here. I don't know, whatever. But you'd have easy access to it. So I don't know. I literally don't know what you would put in there. But maybe it could be a little quick thing for your passenger too. So if your passenger wants to, I don't know, hide their stuff in there, they could easily. So it doesn't look too bad. It feels very sturdy. Again, I don't really care for the screw nut combo that came with that thing. So I think if you're gonna put it on, I would also recommend using that. I don't know if that's a lich pin or what the hell. I don't know, I'm like losing my mind. Forgetting the names of stuff. Like, what the heck's wrong with me? But ultimately, I think it looks great. I think that, you know, it's gonna have to take me a little bit of time, a couple of rides, to really fill this thing out to see if it's the right setup. And if it is, then I'll just wear it out, and when it's ready to be replaced, I think at that point I'll buy the more expensive option. So that would probably be going to a different seat altogether. So that way it's one unit, and I don't have to worry about taking things off, putting them on, whatever it is. It's just a seat, right? So that'll make life a little bit easier. So that was quick and easy. Again, 70 bucks, Amazon. Take a look. If you're installing it, like I said, make sure you pay attention to what bracket you need to use for your bike. There are no instructions that come along with it, but it's 4 bolts, about 5 if you count that one in the middle there. And then you saw I used 2 tools, right? The Allen wrench to set that set screw, and then I used a monkey wrench, adjustable wrench, to do the rest of the work. So it doesn't get any easier than that. So give it a run, see what you think. You'll hear about this in a review Wednesday in the future, but until then, you know, hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Really appreciate the support, and until that next video does post, I hope to see you in the win.